All right, so we finally have female My Players, but is with a catch. And again, I want to stress that, I have absolutely no clue about whether or not it is going to be a My Player, female My Players when it comes to the park aspect, but I would say I'm 99.9% sure that it's not. But let's talk about why this is significant to see female My Players in MyTeam, and then also why it's insignificant that there's female My Players in MyTeam. Okay, so let's talk about the significance. One, I feel like, yes, we've been asking for years about female My Players in the park. And, there's been a lot of debate about, well, how tall should the females be? That's unrealistic to have, female My Players dunking. Keep in mind, these are the same people that are running around with jetpacks on their back and are, everything else, being aliens on the court, mascots running around dunking, doing everything. So it's this whole thing. It's really just about just an issue with women, I guess. I don't know. I have a daughter, and I 100% would love to, my daughter to be able to play herself, just like all men are able to create players that look like themselves and play a video game and have fun. This is a virtual game. It is meant to be fun. And even though it's quote unquote simulated, it's not really simulated, because we have cosmetics that are out of this world, right? That is not realistic. We are able to do things in the game that aren't realistic. People are able to shoot consistently from, half court. People are able to, again, be as a mascot, be as an alien, have jetpacks on their back, run around with book bags. This still is a virtual game. And I feel like the excuse of this is simulated and women shouldn't be able to dunk is just, a very, very poor excuse and just a lack of understanding the times. Now, I will say this is that, during conversations with 2K, doing conversations with with Visual Concepts, and then also publicly questions that they've asked is the same things that people are complaining about. They're like, okay, well, how tall should a female My Player be? And I've always said, let them be 7'4". If the height can be 7'4", let it be 7'4", right? Well, there ain't no 7'4" woman. Well, actually, there is 7 feet women in this world. You can Google it up and see there are 7 feet women that play basketball in this world. I don't think people understand that. So if you're saying, the reason why we shouldn't be able to make 7 foot female My Players because you just haven't seen one before, that doesn't mean that there isn't 7 foot females in this world and 7 foot females that play basketball. Well, the female My Players shouldn't be dunking. Okay, well, again, there are female My Players that do dunk. Now, they obviously are not able to dunk like the men, but why are we still splitting hairs like this so much? It's a basketball game. Let the hundreds of thousands of girls that play this game be able to make themselves, right? And then the last thing is, they'll sexualize it, this and that. Bro, people do racist stuff. They do everything on video games. It's like Roblox is having a massive lawsuit right now about that. I mean, literally, how many times have you seen racial slurs on the back of people tattoos walking around in the park, right? How many times have you seen, people just have their usernames, that are, just not what it, come on, like, let's just keep it a stack. Like, so let's not do that either. Again, this is tons of excuses to do that. So in my opinion, this would be huge for the female fan base. The WNBA is obviously at an all-time high. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, even got, Beckers, who was, speaking over for the MyTeam stuff. There's just a lot of women. Obviously, you got, Asia Wilson. You can just go down a list of just popular female players that this is an opportunity that 2K is missing out on if they do not have female My Players in the game. Is not just in MyTeam, okay? Now, let me talk about the insignificance of why they have them on MyTeam and how that's insignificant. Because looking at the clip art and looking at the videos, the female players are literally their own heights, okay? So if you play my team, you know small guards are absolutely not going to be utilized. I mean, as great as Steph Curry is, you're just not going to see Steph Curry in no comp setting, right? Unless it's early in the season with cards and you're still getting your cards. But by, halfway through season 2, there's going to be a tall guard and everybody's going to use them. Like, it's going to be a 6'7" Penny Hardaway, Cade Cunningham, whatever it is, Magic Johnson. You're just going to phase them out, right? Now, they have to have female my players in my team be, a different height. Now, I don't know how that is legally, but that's going to make them insignificant. Female my players are not going to be selected at a high rate because at the end of the day, unless you're a casual and the card is free, because even if you're a casual, you're not going to pay a lot of money for a card that is not good. So Steph Curry, as great as he is in real life, when it comes to my team, he's very insignificant. Ben Simmons, as terrible as he is as a player now, he's very significant when it comes to my team when his card comes out. Why? Because he's a 6'10" point guard, right? And of course, his attributes will be juiced. So no matter how much you juice Steph Curry, no matter how much you juice Ja Morant, no matter how much you juice whatever player that is short, Chris Paul, whoever, if you're not tall, I feel like, once you get to 6'5", that is about it. 6'5" and up is like 6'5" is about the lowest you go. Like Oscar Robertson can be relevant, you got Luka, like these 6'5", James Harden, they'll be relevant. But again, female my players, if they're only going to be 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", 5'1", 5'2", like, the average height of the, the women basketball players, we're going to have issues. Now, the cool thing is the bigger players, which again, like even someone like Asia Wilson, I'm not sure how tall she is, but I can look it up real quick. But even someone as dominant as her, I don't think, let me see, her height is going to be, she's 6'4", right? So Asia Wilson, as good as she is, she's 6'4". Who's the tallest player in the NBA or WNBA? Tallest player in the WNBA now. The tallest player in the WNBA now is a girl named Margot Dydek, and she's 7'2". So if they put Margot Dydek in a game, she will be relevant, because if she's 7'2" and she say, for instance, she's a Galaxy Opal and she has 9'9" ball and all that type of stuff, she's going to be great, right? But when you're talking about like the people that people really know and want to play with, they're just going to be too small. Like Asia Wilson, 6'4" center is just not going to work. Now, if they made Asia Wilson a 6'4" point guard, then she could be utilized more. So I hope you understand that the significance and insignificance that comes out of this because of the female my player. Where they become significant is if you allow them to be in the park, and then you can dictate their height as tall as you want to. That's where they become significant. The problem is, for some reason, shape, or form, there's still people at 2K that are reluctant to do that, and I do not understand why, especially when NBA Live has done that. Now, from some shocking out of left field, next week, if we get information that there's female my players, that will be probably the biggest W that the NBA 2K has ever done since 2K14. I'm dead serious, right? 2K14 is when they basically revolutionized, the game that we see today. If you haven't watched that video, then you definitely need to watch that video about why 2K14 is so relevant and so important to 2K that we know today. But y'all let me know in the comment section, how do y'all feel about this? Female my players in my team, but they're going to be restricted on height. Is it a W? Is it an L? But other than that, it's your favorite old head, Uncle Demi. I'll be back really, really soon on the Banger, man. When I say back soon on the Banger, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tomorrow, man. I'm out.